of the year 2025. This is 1st of December, and because it's a YouTube live, I can tell you that few years ago, back in the day, in 2010s, in the beginning of 2010s, it was very popular to do episodes every single day in December, and they called it Vlogmas, like vlog and Christmas together. And this year, I was thinking about this, and I was really looking forward to buy something that they call the Advent calendar. It's basically a box with 24 separate windows, and these windows are kind of mixed up, like in the traditional game books, where you have all the chapters mixed up, and you need to jump chapter to chapter to find your way out of a story, or find your way to find the treasure you are hunting for. And this year, I actually bought it. There are quite a big selection of this advent calendar filled with chocolate, 24 chocolate, for every single day of December until Christmas. And the thing is, the difference is between 2025 and the other years, that this year, all of them has the brand name on it. So you could buy it, previously you could buy this sort of chocolatey advent calendar that featured the Christmas tree, the Santa Claus, and so on, the traditional symbols. But now it's mostly the branded ones. So I bought this one for my inner child. Look at this. It's from Lint. They opened a new shop. We are in London, UK, and the most touristic place is Piccadilly Circus. And this brand, they opened a shop at Piccadilly Circus, and it's very good because they mixed a traditional shop and basically an entertainment touristy place as well. So it's quite a show. You must go there if you're in London. And as you see, or maybe you don't see it at all, but the windows, the 24 windows, are mixed up. So you see the number here and there. And actually, before starting this YouTube live, I was searching for the first window, because it's first of December, and it's right here. We're gonna open it at the end of this live video, so you will see what's inside. But well, that is a giveaway because it's the shape of a rabbit, obviously. Oh my god, it's not a rabbit, it's a reindeer. Oh my god, I knew there's something wrong with it, because rabbits usually come at Easter, but it has the shape of a rabbit, but it's a reindeer. Look at this. Rudolph the reindeer. So this is a series, and the first part of the series, I talked about the icons, the classical authors of the game books. Sir Ian Livingstone, who's actually gonna be the top VIP guest at 2026 Budapest Comic Con. Right now we are in London, UK, but I'm originally from Budapest, from Hungary. And when I saw that he's gonna be the one visiting us and gonna be the VIP guest of the Comic Con in Budapest, I was so happy. Every single day, since I got the news, every single day, I'm really happy. Look, I'm just thinking about it. I'm talking about it. I'm already like smiling. And this is 1st of December. Outside, it's raining. 4 o'clock, it's already dark, and obviously it's like 8 or 9 o'clock right now. So the first episode, I talked about Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson. In part 2, I talked about Joe Diva, and the difference between the two series of game books they have, that the Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson's game books are not really connected. Obviously, it takes place in, basically most of them, it takes place in Angers, in one world, but it's very loosely connected. So you can start with any book from the series. But Joe Deaver, the Lone Wolf series, are very well connected. It's basically like you playing to fantasy TV series. It's so different, absolutely different. So you got the both side, the two sides of the coin, and this is episode 3, and I'm gonna talk about Eastern Europe, how it was, fantasy and sci-fi and game books and comic books back in the day when I was young. The one of the most important thing you need to know that it was a completely different world right now and back in the day in the 90s. So now if you look at the streaming, you have Amazon, you have Netflix, obviously the best one, the most popular one, Netflix, and then you have Disney Plus with all the Marvel movies and Pixar movies, and so on. You have Peacock as well. You have Paramount Plus, and there's so many others with anime, Japanese anime, and so many others with European and all around the world art movies. So there are so many right now, but the main ones are Netflix and so on. The point is, a creator, actors, producers, director, and so on, they make a movie, they put it on streaming, and it's immediately accessible for every single person who is a subscriber. But back in the day, in the 90s, it was not like that at all. So that's the time of the VHS, the cassette. And that's the time when it was so very, very, very expensive to buy original ones. Before the streaming era, you could buy DVDs very cheaply because it was mass produced and so many people bought it, so that's why it was very cheap. They could bring the price down. But you can actually look it up. The very first Disney VHS, how much that cost, and you will be surprised by the price. So that was the time when the very important thing about the VHS cassette, that you could actually record live television, and that was basically a game changer. And there was so many pirated copies as well. And this is, I want to start today's episode with this. Star Wars. Obviously, if you are into fantasy and sci-fi and all that stuff, you know about Lord of the Rings, you know about Star Wars, you know about Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and all that stuff. I don't have to explain it to you. But Star Wars, the very first time I watched it, it was not the original language. It was not my language either. It was a pirated copy. So basically, you didn't really see the pictures. It was so saturated, it was so like damaged because it was copied through with some mysterious techniques from one VHS cassette to another one, then the other one, then the other one. So basically, the sides they were complete. The frame the picture close to the frame was completely gone, and in the middle there was like there's this static, like white lines going all this time. So you need to pay attention, you need to look really careful what you actually see there. Is it the space, is it a forest, is it like a spaceship, there's like a battle going on, what's going on? And there was some sort of original language, maybe the original American, or maybe it was like a German dubbing or something like that. And there were subtitles as well with the language nobody knew what language that was. And there was something like a voiceover. One guy, usually an older guy, who talked basically what was supposed to be a translation of the movie. He talked in a very, very slow pace and totally without emotion at all. So you could have a scene where the characters are having fun. This voiceover would translate what they say, the dialogue, exactly the same way how he would do the voiceover for a scene where it's like a very dramatic events going on, like Luke Skywalker learns who is actually Darth Vader. to him. Exactly the same way. And obviously, whenever they scream, whenever they shout, whenever there's something that is not really a word, just like there's like a serious drama going on, then it would be not translated at all. So you really need to pay attention. And it was obviously taking place in Hungary. I was very young and I was watching this, and so basically there was like 3, 4 languages going on in the same time: the voiceover, the subtitle, the original language, which is supposed to be the original language, and then like so many languages, neither was something I knew. So I didn't know. I was just watching something which was like a remakes video for like a music videos, like what is going on, and I absolutely loved it. I remember watching Star Wars, but obviously that Star Wars what I watched, but probably was completely different. What it appeared in my head, it was obviously completely different than what George Lucas was intended for the wider audience. Yeah, I can tell you that. And now that I have Disney Plus, I think when they came to the UK, I was one of the first one actually subscribing for the service. I got an email from somewhere. I don't know what was at that time. I was doing the university, and probably it went through the university or one of the student application. I have like 7 different student application for the student discounts and food and clothes and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was one of the first one, and when I watched the Star Wars with the original language, it was absolutely so boring because George Lucas was asked in one of the interviews why Yoda talks the way how he talks. And he said that he needed to come up with a style of speaking that would make the young audience listen. And he came up with this style of talking because Yoda talks a lot apparently. And it was the same thing. When I watched this pirated copy of Star Wars when I was very young, it was much more interesting to me because it was like super challenging to listen to understand what's going on. Then what you can get a very nice, very neat copy you can watch on the Disney Plus anytime when you are a subscriber. And that's why I actually like the game books as well. I prefer game books to original novels because it's very interactive. You need to decide how the story gonna continue. You're on a corridor. You wanna go left. You wanna go right. Go to this chapter. Go to that chapter. But you meet a person, maybe an orc princess in one of the rooms when you open the heavy oak wooden doors, and you need to decide: you're gonna say hello, you're gonna attack, you're gonna run away, you're gonna hide, what you're gonna do. And this is so interesting to me compared to a novel where you can just like follow the characters. You do basically nothing, just you read the lines and that's it. So yeah, I really wanted to talk about this, my first experience with the Star Wars universe. And it was not the New Hope, not the first one, which is now the episode 4, but it was the second one actually, which is episode 5 right now. So second in the original trilogy. So not even the I didn't even watch it in a chronological order when it comes to pirated copies when I was really young. So I wanted to share this, and then a second thing I wanted to share was the 90s in Hungary. There were so many things. I would not call it pirated. I would call it, because I done the university, in economics. I have a diploma. I would call it localization. So it's like right now when a new Superman movie comes out, like it did James Gunn's Superman 2025, and actually this year that was the only one movie I watched it in a cinema. I went with the family, and yeah, it was absolutely great. I like the colors. I absolutely love the colors. The Superman suit, the color, the blue and the red. It was so perfect. That was my problem with the Zack Snyder Superman. It was so dark. Superman for me is very, very bright. It's about hope and everything. And Zack Snyder made the Superman to be like this dark character. And well, now we have James Gunn. And I so much prefer the James Gunn version. So that was the only one movie I watched in the cinema this year in 2025. Yeah, but back in the day, it was completely different. There were so many comic books, there were so many books written with these characters, with, for example, the Star Wars characters, the Terminator characters, the Robocop characters. And it turned out to be not a translation from the American published works, but it was written by Hungarians, and it was very much localized version. So imagine that James Gunn does a movie, but what you can watch now, and when it comes to your country, if you're not in America right now, it goes to your country, and let's say you live in a village, and everyone in your village works at the local mine. I don't know, you're mining like rare earth materials or something. And Saturday, Sunday, if you don't work, and what you do, you go for a football game, you go to the pub, or you go for fishing in the local fishing pond in lake. So this is what you do. So the localized version would be the Superman of the Superman, that he's basically not really wearing his costume, this blue costume with the red cape. He would look very much how your uniform would be when you go to the mines. And he wouldn't be a journalist, he would be someone who would work in the mines. And on his weekends, where he would meet, I don't know, Louis Lane, it would be when he's like going for fishing or going to the local village pub. So this sort of things, these sort of books, there are so many of them, Star Wars books, and it turned out that they didn't have the right. They had no communication with George Lucas or George Lucas Films or anyone from Hollywood. It was completely localized version. It's to help you imagine it, it's like when you go to Wattpad or you going for any sort of websites where you can get fan fiction. But we didn't know this because it was sold in the bookshops. So you went there and you wanted to buy 8 books from the Star Wars Han Solo series or something like that. and you bought it and you thought you buying like an American book, and it was not American. It was written by someone probably passed on the street when he was walking to buy something in the shop. And oh my God, that was an absolutely amazing thing. And now this is 2025 December, and very soon we are at the end of the live video, and we're going to open this 24 windows advent calendar, and we're gonna get the reindeer chocolate. I believe it's gonna be a reindeer. Let me open it. It has this plastic on it. So these Star Wars comic books, the artist is Attila Fazekas. I opened it just now, and it has the reindeer. Oops, I dropped it on the floor. So right now, 2025, they actually in talks with the original copyright owners, and they actually like the 90s Hungarian version of the Star Wars and the other things they did. So they actually give them the right to publish it again. But there's some limitation, like they can publish it in 500 copies or something like that. But they actually like the idea, and when I heard the news, it was very heartwarming. It was very, very heartwarming, you know. It's like I thought that they're gonna like sue the Hungarian authors or something like that. They should not they should they could because they had every right to do that because there was they didn't communicate, they didn't ask for you know for the rights, they didn't ask for permission at all, and they use the characters, they use the world, they use everything. But they said, the Americans said that Hollywood said that, oh, we actually like this sort of 90s Hungarian version of the Star Wars and all the other characters. And okay, we're gonna give you the right. You can publish it again, but only like 500 copies. And let me tell you that 2025 now, I go on Facebook. I go on Facebook in these different fantasy and sci-fi and game books, comic books, all sort of um, Facebook groups where these things are on sale, and it's basically cost like a Renaissance painting because it's so that popular from the moment the the copyright owners in Hollywood, they said, okay, we like this and we give you the permission to do whatever you want. From that moment, when it was no longer something like a pirated stuff, oh my god, now it's like super expensive, you need to have a very good job, work a very long time, save a lot of money to buy one of these localized Hollywood blockbuster character, localized 90s book or comic book. And this episode, I wanted to share this, how East Europe and Hollywood got together. And this is how I grew up in this sort of world. Okay, and now I'm gonna have my chocolate, my advent chocolate, and this was 1st of December. I see you tomorrow. Bye. Oops.